Okay, so for this video, I wanted to do a little something different. I was out shopping recently just on my own time, major national retailer, and I noticed that they had done some asphalt repairs in the parking lot. And as I looked around, I noticed just how poorly they'd been done. And as I looked closer and started taking pictures, I realized, wow, this project really represents pretty much all of my pet peeves about asphalt repair projects. So here we have a video about it. So in this video, I will lay out 6 of my biggest pet peeves about lack of quality, shortcuts, and sort of half-hearted work in asphalt repair projects. And then, of course, I've also included why those issues are there and then what can be done to avoid them. So hope it's helpful to you. Enjoy.
As we get started, I'd like to point out that as bad as some of these issues look in photos, they look far, far worse in person. In this first photo, we get 2 of my bigger pet peeves in one. First, look how crooked these joints are. It's clear that the crew either didn't care about making them straight or didn't have the skill to operate the equipment in a way to make them straight. Straight joints require time to carefully measure and or set string lines as a guide and then carefully use the right equipment to follow them. Secondly, this crew left these little asphalt slivers next to curbs, close to their repairs. It literally takes only minutes to excavate all the way to the concrete transition, and it actually makes the repaving part of the project easier. They may think that things like this are fine for now, but on subsequent projects, someone will have to remove these and again have an ugly joint close to curbs, or they'll have to excavate into these repairs. Either way, it's a waste of time and money over the long run, and it looks horrible and sloppy immediately after the work is done. This kind of thing really drives me crazy. My third pet peeve is in keeping with the first one, which demonstrated rushing and carelessness by the part of the grinder operator. Looking closely at the joints, I could see that the operator was going too quickly, so instead of cutting the joints, they were being torn. This results in a weaker joint that's prone to separation and worse cracking as it ages. Older pavement is more prone to this edge tearing, so again, it's important for the operator to pay attention and just slow down if needed. We can also see here that it looks as if either no tack oil or asphalt glue was used on the edges, or too little. This is another basic and essential step that seems to have been neglected here. Moving on to my fourth pet peeve, again related to joints, is crumbling joints. Again, a lack of tack oil on the edges, careless work by a raker man, and improper rolling when the asphalt is cooled too much can lead to this. Applying tack oil and sand over the joints once the work is completed isn't a necessity, but it is a nice finishing touch that can also prevent joints that look like this. Coming in at number 5 is yet another problem with joints, this time with too much asphalt at the joint, resulting in a raised repair patch edge. Again, careless work by rakermen was at work here. They should be pulling the fine aggregates to the joint edge, but instead, a lot of areas had buildup of coarse aggregate on the edges. And finally, the 6th pet peeve I saw at this project was poor mat or surface quality. The asphalt surface is best when it's laid by the paver, as it maintains the balance in the aggregates with an auger that distributes the material to the screed. Shoveling and raking the mix segregates the aggregates and result in rough-looking patches like this. While some segregation is inevitable on small patches that are too small for paver or areas that must be done with handwork, these were right in the middle of the drive lane where little, if any, handwork is required. The surface should be smooth here, and it isn't. This suggests the crew was starting and stopping the paving operation and overworking the mix with rakes and shovels. Okay, there are many more potential quality issues. We'll touch on some of them in the future, but this project just offered a number of the more common ones altogether. Hope that was helpful.